Now, their
Okay, folks,
total
Erdogan won the
number of
election.
MPs is about
This is
129.
a feed from
As
I
I
think he's
said,
talking
he
about the other
claims to be
party.
an expert of number.
feed from my when I subscribe to Kingdom Covenant, and he talks about the prophecies of the Bible, Daniel 11, in Book of Daniel and Revelation. He talks about Turkey being the part of the nations of the 10 beasts and the 10 crown, the 10 kings and all that, and the Antichrist, and the beast, beast 1 and the beast 2. No, anyways, let's go back to the election.
And it
But this
shows.
is the election for the Turkey.
And I
This
guess
person said he won't last another term because the economy is so bad, which will most likely lead to an early election. Guys, Erdogan literally just won off of a terrible earthquake that killed 45,000 people, utterly destroyed the infrastructure, and literally revealed to the Turkish people that he was not, doing all of these civil codes, and that's why all of the, like the civil infrastructure, he was responsible for that. And so that's one of the reasons why many people were saying he was going to lose. So he literally won, even though there was that massive earthquake. The inflation rates within Turkey are some of the highest within the world. He still won. Okay, so I don't believe any of this. That he's going to get kicked out early, guys. There's a reason why he's in office, and it's not because of his amazing policies. It's because of the divine vision. Right? We'll get into it.
guess the main opposition party, CHP, will also be saying
There will be a
bye-bye
coup,
to
a
Mr.
second coup.
Kemal for this very reason.
28 Mayıs seçiminin de galibi
As I said,
85 milyon vatandaşımızın tamamıdır.
85 million of our citizens have come victorious
85 million.
in
Ama ben bir
the
şey
two
I believe
rounds
that's
of
1/5 of the
these
American
elections.
population.
However,
I believe.
I would also like to say the following.
Kazanacağız ki kimse
Please allow me to
kaybetmeyecek.
remind you that I always said that we will have such a victory that there will be no losers in such victory.
Sadece Türkiye'dir.
That is why today the winner is Turkey.
Kalkınmamızdan,
Looks like there's 10 more minutes, guys. Stay tuned.
taviz vermeden. Şimdi Türkiye.
We have never compromised on our democracy, development, and goals. And it is with these achievements that we are starting the second century of our republic. And we owe this success to young people, elderly, to people who work, to people who are retired. We owe this success and we owe these achievements to the entirety of our nation. We know that we have friends, brothers, and sisters who have hopes for this success, and we have always supported their hope. And from now on, we will
What do you guys
also
think? You believe what he's
continue
saying
to
or
do
no?
the same thing.
'Cause I don't.
Please have a look around. Look at this crowd.
Meydanın tarihi yazdı, tarihi.
Now we are
I would have
at
expected a little bit bigger of a crowd.
the square of
That's just me.
Tusikli, and we are writing history.
Yeah, I believe they changed it to Turkey. I believe that was I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. But they changed it to its Islamic root name rather than the Western name.
A person who lives in Istanbul is a person who lives in Üsküdar, in Kısıklı. I thank God because He gave me such friends who accompany me on this journey. I am so lucky, and we are going to congratulate this victory together once again.
Actually, this is from Al Jazeera.
Now we have 2024 to look
Speech from Al
forward to, and I
Jazeera.
think you get the message, right?
Üsküdar'da
In 2024,
yerel seçimlerde kazanmaya hazır.
we will
What's happening in 2024?
take over Üsküdar and Istanbul in
What?
local elections. Are you
Okay.
ready for this success?
I was waiting for him to say
we
we're gonna
will have
drive
to
the
work
tanks in
really
there.
hard.
Rakam ne biliyor musunuz?
This
I
guy is a
asked the
dictator,
officials
folks.
to know the official number of people who have gathered here, and I think we have around 55,000 people who have gathered here today.
You say it's the beginning of
55,000.
the end?
Sergiden
End prophecy in the
Of
Bible?
course,
Maybe.
elections come and go.
ülkemizin hedeflerinden
Only God
sapmaması,
knows, I guess.
What's important
birliğine,
is to work towards achieving the goals of our country
bugünkü
and
seçimlerin
to
en büyük mesajı
support the unity
They
of
voted for
our
the Turkish
country.
Joe
And the
Biden.
main message of these elections is
Oh.
At
exactly
least, at least
that.
everyone can talk.
The
That's
results
all I
of
can
this
say.
election
tanımlarına
have shown once again
No,
that
he's younger
no
than Biden.
one can have the courage to
az önce
change
he's
the
young- I think
victories
he's
and
younger
to
than
change
Biden.
the gains of this country.
Guys,
So it looks like we
And
secured
a couple of minutes
323
ago,
out
I
of
received a
600
phone
seats
call
in
from
parliament.
President Aliyev from
Oh, that was on May
Azerbaijan.
14th.
it's a fraud election, anyways.
I also received a phone call from the president
Talk
of
about fixed
Uzbekistan,
elections.
Uzbekistan.
the
You
prime
don't think this is
minister of
fixed,
Libya,
folks?
Libya. Ooh, that's a big one in
and
Bible
they
prophecy,
keep
guys.
calling me.
gerekirse
And what they say is
davet edin, hemen şimdi de gelin.
that there is no need to wait. If you want us to come and congratulate you in person, please send us the invitation and we'll be there. So, with this election, we have received the congratulation messages from Qatar, from East, from West.
Qatar.
As I said, no one can touch the freedoms and gains that this country has successfully
Yeah.
gained in the
You're right.
last couple of years.
That
And
was
no
their
one
night.
can have
You know, Joe Biden used
the
to-
courage to insult our nation.
Parmak sallayamaz.
No one,
Bunun
Anyways.
için terör örgütü-
not a single
Forget about
person,
Biden.
can threaten
herhangi bir
Turkey.
aracı ayağımıza dolayamaz. Hiç
He's
kimse
got about 4 more minutes on his victory speech. We're going to go over what all
And
this
those
means.
people
Stay tuned,
can
guys.
also not
biri olma,
threaten
kardeş olma.
our success with other people and intermediaries. We are going to be one, we are going to be strong, we are going to be lively, and we are going to be brothers and sisters. And we are going to achieve this together.
İstanbul'un tüm ilçeleri bulunduruyorsun. Kardeşlerim, bu CHP LGBT'ci midir? Bu HDP LGBT'ci midir? Bu İYİ Parti LGBT'ci midir?
I wish they would tell us what he's saying. I want to know what he's saying. Unfortunately, I don't speak Arabic or whatever he's,
Peki,
speaking.
AK Parti'ye LGBT sızabilir? MHP'ye
Translators
sızabilir mi?
just translators stop.
Yeah. So that's his victory speech. Okay, that is essentially what happened. He wins the election. Now let's actually look in depth at what took place. That was kind of just like what he was saying. But let's look at actually what happened. So I have this right here. Let's take a look at it. Let me just make sure you guys can see this. So Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan won re-election on Sunday, the head of Turkey's Supreme Election Council. Okay, declaring Erdogan the winner of a historic runoff vote that is set to extend his 20-year rule until 2028. So he's been ruling this country for 20 years, and he's going to extend that until 2028. That is I believe that's a 7-year extension, either that or a 5-year extension. Somebody comment down below. Anyway, with a third term, Erdogan will have an even stronger hand domestically and internationally, and the election results will have implications far beyond Ankara. Turkey stands at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, and it plays a key role in NATO. So, in his first comment since the polls closed, Erdogan spoke to his supporters on a campaign bus outside his home in Istanbul. That's what we just saw. Okay, he was on his little, campaign bus giving his victory speech. All right. So he's thanking the members of our nation for trusting me with the responsibility to govern this country. Once again, we hope to be worthy of your trust. Okay, that's the key word right there, trust. So remember in his speech how he was saying, I just want to, congratulate my opponent, blah blah blah. Well, actually, he ridiculed his challenger for his loss, saying "Bye bye, come on," as his supporters booed. So I assure you, that's probably what he was saying in the language that we weren't hearing, right? A little bit of a kind of bad blood there. No one can look down on our nation, he said. You guys heard that. He was applauded during his first decade as leader for transforming Turkey. Okay. Now, Erdogan's chief rival, Kılıçdaroğlu, was a secular social democrat politician who had emphasized messages of freedom and democracy on the campaign trail. This is what I've been talking about during the last couple of weeks with Tara, with all of these Bible prophecy updates, is the fate of Turkey's future and the fate of this region was very much tied to this election. You guys really need to understand this. His opponent was representing the Western NATO kind of secularization. He was essentially bringing Ataturk, which is the one who founded Turkey and brought the Western principles into it, leading it away from the caliphate and the Islamic principles. And Erdogan, he's the one that's bringing it to its Islamic roots. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys have heard me say that a million times. I just got to kind of get that out the way so that we can move forward. All right. So now, recently on the international stage, Erdogan's government, while he was in the election process, vetoed Sweden's bid to join NATO. This was a big, big deal. You guys haven't been hearing about this. Sweden's been trying to join NATO, wow. And for some reason, Turkey is blocking it. Okay, very, very suspect. Mm-hmm. He was purchasing Russian missile defense systems, which prompted the United States to oust Turkey from a U.S.-led fighter jet project. So yet again, just more evidence that there's like literally a wall, a steep divide going between America and the West and Turkey. Okay, so this is essentially what happened. Now we're going to kind of skip most of this. Erdogan, he is 69 years old right now, currently as we speak, and is set to remain in power until 2028. Okay, so if it's 2023 and he's 69, that means he's going to be, 75, 76 at the end of 2028. He is a devout Muslim. Okay, he is a devout Muslim. He heads the Conservative and Religious Justice and Development Party, or AKP. Erdogan transformed the presidency from largely a ceremonial role to a powerful office through a narrowly won 2017 referendum that scrapped Turkey's parliamentary system of governance. Yep. So imagine, just real quick, imagine this. Imagine King Charles, who everybody right now says is the Antichrist, okay? We're going to get into what I believe about Erdogan. I don't think he's the Antichrist. But imagine if King Charles could be. Right? Let's say he became president, and the president was not really a ceremonial role, right? It was kind of just something that was kind of under the radar. And the parliamentary system was really the big deal. Imagine if he scrapped the parliament system of Great Britain, right? And made himself the chief president. This is what happened in Turkey. This is what happened in let me get the right date on that. I want to make sure. 2017. Okay, that's what happened in the 2017 referendum. Now we're going to go into more kind of the history of Erdogan, what makes him such a crazy ruler, and what this has to do with Bible prophecy. Okay, so the first half of Erdogan's tenure included reforms that allowed the country to begin talks to join the European Union and economic growth that lifted many out of poverty. But he later moved to suppress freedoms and the media and concentrated more power in his own hands. Surprise, surprise. Especially after that failed coup attempt. Okay, does anybody remember 2016, I believe, or 2015, when that coup took place and the military literally tried to go and kill Erdogan? That happened. Why did that happen? Because they recognized he was an authoritarian, dictatorial ruler that was literally an Islamic tyrant, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And they wanted to go back to their Western principles, and they failed, right? For some reason, Erdogan just keeps getting all these things handed to him. He somehow survives the coup that tries to take his life. He somehow survives the earthquake, and he survives the ramifications of this earthquake and wins the election. Why do I believe that he somehow miraculously continues down this road to this authoritarian regime, right? And he continues to win. Well, I believe there is demonic inception behind that. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that, okay? Mm-hmm. So Sunday also marked the 10th anniversary of the start of mass anti-government protests that broke out over plans to uproot trees in Istanbul's Giza Park. This is not very important, okay? So this is the context to what just happened in the elections. Now, I want us to go over here, okay? This is my ChatGPT. I did a lot of research on this. For y'all who are not using ChatGPT, y'all need to start using it because it is crazy. But that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look at the history of Erdogan so you guys can kind of see what's going on and so you can know exactly what's going to take place. So, Erdogan essentially entered politics in the late 1970s, okay? This was nearly 50 years ago. Now, listen to this. He joined the Islamist National Salvation Party called the MSP, and he was a protege of this guy named Erbakan, who was a prominent Islamist politician. So from the beginning, okay, Erdogan had his hands thoroughly deep into this Islamic kind of nationalism, okay? And of course, he became the mayor of Istanbul in 1994. He was elected the mayor of Istanbul, Turkey's largest city, and that lasted from 1994 to 1998. Now, we touched on this a bit, but because of the Islamic policies, he was trying to, like the Sharia law and stuff like that. I don't know exactly the specifics on this, but he was actually thrown into jail for 4 years. He had to serve a 4-year jail sentence. Now, if somebody wants to comment below and actually tell me if he served that, I don't know if he did. But if he did, he would have served a 4-year jail sentence, right? So, he founded the AKP. It was banned due to its Islamic activities, okay? And then he became the prime minister. So this AKP, this Islamic party that he created, won a landslide victory in the 2002 parliamentary elections. This was before he scrapped the parliament, okay? And Erdogan became Turkey's prime minister, okay? During his 3-year term as prime minister, Erdogan pursued significant economic reforms, leading to a period of sustained economic growth. So he was doing pretty good during this time, 2003, 2004. However, his rule was also marked by growing concerns over democratic rights and increasing authoritarian tendencies. As it goes, right? This is the same story, of Hitler, of all these guys who weave their way in, saying, oh, I'm this democratic leader, I'm this guy who's going to make everything right, and slowly but surely you start to reveal who they truly are. Okay? 2007, Erdogan's government proposed a series of constitutional amendments aimed at curbing the power of the military, which had a history of intervening in Turkish politics. These changes were approved through a referendum, signaling a consolidation of power for Erdogan and the AKP. So not only did he have power over the parliamentary system when he became the prime minister, but he also exhibited his power towards the military. This is what led to that coup that took place. Okay, and this led in 2014, not even a decade ago, he was elected as Turkey's president in the first ever direct presidential election. So the presidency, largely a ceremonial role, was transformed into an executive position with expanded powers following a constitutional referendum in 2017. Okay, now during his time as president, we're doing a lot of history here, but this is important for you guys to understand. Okay, it was marked by numerous controversies, including crackdowns on political dissent, restrictions on press freedom, allegations of human rights abuses. His government faced widespread protest in 2013 and a failed coup attempt in 2016. Okay, this led to a significant crackdown on perceived opponents. I believe if we look at what Erdogan did, let me get a quick drink. After the coup attempt on his life failed, he literally imprisoned, I believe it was 153 political members. So they were put into prison, and I believe there was many of those who were actually killed in prison.
Wow.
So he did a full-scale crackdown on his political system. It's like, okay, who supported this, who didn't? And he was able to consolidate. So really, guys, history of this guy really sus, really suspect. It's not good, okay? And this is what's going to lead to what he's doing now. Back to this, okay? Erdogan's foreign policy has been assertive and at times controversial. He has sought to strengthen Turkey's regional influence, particularly in the Middle East. But this has often led to tensions with neighboring countries and strained relationships with traditional allies. Hint, hint, the U.S., okay? Now, the last thing that Erdogan did before this election, he won the re-election in 2018, further solidifying his grip on power. his government has continued to face criticism over democratic backsliding, growing authoritarianism, and concerns about the erosion of the rule of law. Okay? So that's where we're at. That's where we're at now that Erdogan has won. Is this guy literally has almost total and absolute power of his country. And we're going to see exactly what's going to take place after this. Now, here are a few quotes that I found that I think are very interesting, right? I said this one earlier when he was giving his speech. Yeah, there was a quote of his that said in 2008, "Democracy is like a streetcar. You ride it until you arrive at your destination." I mean, dictator vibes, anybody?
Yeah.
Dictator vibes.
He's a dictator.
Number 2, we are the party of God. We will walk the path of the righteous. 2002. Okay, that's his Islamic roots. This is a quote of his. "You cannot be both secular and Muslim. You will either be a Muslim or a secular." Okay, that's the idea.
Yeah.
He said that in 1994. "The mosques are our barracks. The domes are helmets. The minarets are bayonets. And the faithful are soldiers." Okay? So, very, very suspect. I'm going to grab a drink. What do you guys think about all this? Because we haven't even gone to the Bible yet. You guys can see what's happening. We're going to go to the Bible and make a solid case as to why this is the rise of the beast.
So, folks, he
Absolutely
thinks this
wild.
is the start of the Antichrist.
Let's see, what are you guys saying? Then it says
The
that's why he
Roman
survived this long in politics.
Empire.
Exactly. Bible in Action said this is interesting. Okay, so Turkish, his nickname, so
Right.
Turkish Erdogan, nickname for an early born composed of Ersun, and a derivative of Dogmak. Dude, I don't...
Yeah, so it's not the Islamic, it's not the Roman the Roman prophecy of the former Roman Empire coming back to being in the New World System, the system of the beast system by Rome. Everybody think it is. He's saying that it's going to be like the Islamic Caliphate, return of the Islamic Caliphate, like a new Islamic Empire. That's going to be the beast, the new beast system, not the Rome. Everybody think it's, other scholars, Bible scholars think it's the Rome, or the old Roman Empire coming back. That's going to be the beast system, the mark of the beast, Antichrist. Some people think it's the Pope, the Antichrist. But he has good arguments that it makes it seem like it's could be the Islamic Antichrist. And but he mentioned King Charles. It could be King Charles, because there's gonna be Bible says it's gonna be like a religion, a one world religion. And people say it's gonna be there's no evidence that it's gonna be like a one world religion, Catholic and Christian, the Catholic Church and the Islamic leaders. They mentioned something like they're gonna get together, and I've seen a video that's something like that. There's gonna be like a partnership or more. There's understanding, but they mentioned it before the Pope did. Could be more interfaith, more collaboration together. And people say that it's gonna be like a one world religion. And King Charles, he kind of welcomes Islam in a way. He's Anglican, but he kind of mentions Islam. He's not that strict evangelical, like really that conservative. He's more liberal. So so I don't know. He could be the Antichrist. And they form a one world religion. Might started as an Islamic empire or caliphate, and then might turn into morphed into according to the Bible. It's gonna be like it's gonna have control of a religion. What could it be? It's a one-world religion, and it's not be. It won't be a Islam per se. And this video is this guy Kingdom Covenant, his YouTube channel. He has a lot of things to say about a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go on a bit about it, see what he says, and then I'm gonna sign off. But if you wanted more, it's in the description. It's Kingdom Covenant. And look it up, YouTube. That's what Bible prophecy. If you're all interested,
I don't know what you're on.
interested in the
Sorry,
Bible
man.
prophecy.
Maybe try to explain that a little better. Okay, so for those who have been watching my channel, here's the application. I proposed a roadmap to the beast system with a wonderful lady named Tara. I'm going to put the video up here, so for those who don't see it, go watch this video. We were expecting Erdogan to win. We didn't want him to. We were expecting him to win. This is in a long list of things that have been happening in this region that is going to lead to the 10 kings of Revelation. Okay? Now, we have this, we talked extensively about the BRICS. And, within spot number 3 on the map, we have the Turkish presidential elections that just took place. Erdogan has won. So he has secured a seat. That part of the roadmap is firmly in place. Now, we are moving into this thing called the Treaty of Lausanne. You guys have to understand what this is to understand the future of what's going to happen. What is the Treaty of Lausanne? We're going to go over this again. The Treaty of Lausanne is literally about to expire. You have to know what this is. Okay? The Treaty of Lausanne, let's get this up so you guys can see this, was a peace treaty negotiated to settle the conflicts between the Ottoman Empire and the alliance between France, Britain, Italy, Japan, Greece, and Romania at the time of World War I. So the Allies versus the Axis powers, right? You've heard of that.
Did not know that.
The Treaty of Lausanne was a treaty that essentially was made by the Ottoman Empire, which was the great reigning empire of the Middle East during that time, which encompassed the majority of the Middle East. Having a seat in the Turkish Empire, they made a peace treaty with the Western powers, okay? Now, the original agreement signed in 1920 was called the Treaty of Severus, which divided the Ottoman Empire territories. So the Ottoman Empire lost in World War I, so they came in and they divided the territories up. But after the war, a Turkish resistance movement arose, led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. You're going to hear his name all over the place. He rejected the terms of the Treaty of Severus and negotiated the Treaty of Lausanne as a second attempt to reclaim part of the Turkish land. So he's like, guys, I don't want to give this up. We lost, but I'm not gonna let you have all my land, right? Take just a little bit. So we're gonna reject the Treaty of Severus, and I'm gonna propose a different treaty called the Treaty of Lausanne. Okay? And Ataturk became the first president of Turkey after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. Okay? So there were some things that happened. There was a conventional tax on the ships that were sailing through the Turkish Straits, as you would expect in a war agreement. Turkey surrendered countries such as Cyprus, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Iraq, and the Levant. So that's how much they were in control. Here's actually a map of the Ottoman Empire during the time of the Treaty of Lausanne. Okay, they had full control of the region of the Middle East, even moving into the Balkan states like Bulgaria, Greece, Hungary.
Wow.
Okay. Now, this was the division of the territories during the Treaty of Severus. This is the one that Kemal Ataturk rejected. Okay, this came about in 1920, 1923, where Syria, Iraq, the Transjordan at the time, that's what it was called, and Palestine were all separate states. So they were no longer part of Turkey, they were separate states. That's what this was, okay? And the Treaty of Lausanne designed this new map, which is what is now known as modern-day Turkey. So that's the history, guys. That's the history you have to know. All right? I hope I explained that well. Somebody comment down below if I explained that well. Because we gotta make this case before we move forward. Okay? Now, what's so significant about the Treaty of Lausanne is that this is a 100-year treaty, okay? So listen to this. Here's where it gets real crazy. The Treaty of Lausanne was signed in 1923, and guess when it expires, guys? 2023. The year of the Turkish election where this Islamic dictator is coming to power, okay? You have to understand this. The Treaty of Lausanne paved the way for the abolition of the caliphate in March 1924. Okay, so the caliphate is gone. Okay, it weakened Turkish society, morally upending the unity and consciousness of Islam. Okay, so Islam essentially was the dominant power in this region. After the Treaty of Lausanne, lost its influence. Islam is no longer a regional superstate. Okay, the Lausanne conspiracy theories date back to anti-Semitic and nationalist Islamic writings of two people in the 1950s. So there was a renowned pro-Nazi author, politician, and a poet who actually is known to be an inspiration of President Erdogan. These guys were arguing that the Lausanne Treaty was a Jewish plot. Okay, they were arguing that it was masterminded by a consultant of the Turkish delegation of Lausanne, right, which is known as the Protocols of the Children of Zion. Okay, honestly, just Jewish hatred from the start. Okay, whenever you want to try to get rid of a wartime treaty, just blame the Jews. Learn that from Hitler, okay? Just blame the Jews, get them out of here. That's what they essentially are doing in this kind of conspiracy. So, there's kind of a shared belief that a great conspiracy against the Turkish nation has been in preparation by the foreign powers. This is going to be the mindset of Erdogan and of all of these leaders who are trying to get back to the Ottoman empires. They're saying, look, during this World War I time, the World War I period, when these Western nations came in, took over our land, divided it, you know what I mean? They have resentment in their hearts, which honestly, if that happened to America, I would have resentment, you know what I'm saying? But this idea that it's a Jewish conspiracy and a Jewish plot is totally unfounded. And no doubt that is going to play a major role in the future that's going to take place with the invasion of Israel, right? Why is Turkey going to have a major role in the invasion of Israel in the last days? This is going to be one of the reasons, because they have resentment towards the Jews. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Let's keep moving. Am I preaching tonight, guys? Because we got a lot to talk about. So, it is claimed that the Treaty of Lausanne, remember, what's Treaty of Lausanne, right? The division of the Ottoman Empire, the division of the Turkish states, which was signed in 1923 and ends this year at the end of the Turkish elections. It was claimed that the Treaty of Lausanne was signed to be effective for a century, and there are supposedly secret articles in the treaty regarding Turkey's right to extract natural resources. It is argued that Turkey's plans to control trade on the Bosphorus River and reclaim its right to drilling and exploring resources. However, if Turkey decides to reclaim these rights and proceed, it will get into conflict with multiple countries. Okay? That being said, the EU will not accept this decision without agreements or limitations. All right? It is still a prominent ideology used by Turkish politicians who believes Turkey is still entitled to its rights to conquer the land that was previously owned in the era of the Ottoman Empire, and allegedly plans to do so after the end of the Lausanne Treaty, which is this year. Okay? Chills down the back of my spine. Let me get a drink. What do you guys think? Is this the year that Erdogan, after being elected, is going to start to really go down this route of trying to unite Syria, Iraq? I mean, we know, literally there was huge news, over the last couple of years, way before the election was even in place, of Erdogan trying to build this corridor. It's called the Safety Corridor. Let me see if I can pull up a map. There's this Safety Corridor. Stay with me, guys.
Jerrico, that's his name.
Turkey proposed at the UN summit.
His
trying
name's
to take
Jerrico.
land back from, I believe it was Syria. It's going to be this one right here. So look at this map. It's the one on the right, okay? So this is Syria, and the yellow is going to be kind of the Turkish areas. Actually, let me do this. So this is Turkey's safe zone plan, okay? Now, excuse me. Now the red is going to be Assad's government, which is, the Assad government, which is going through this civil war conflict right now. The yellow is going to be the Kurds, right? The Kurds are kind of like the great unclaimed kind of national identity. It's one of the worst humanitarian crises that's happening right now is with the Kurds. But anyway, if you look right above the Kurds, right above the yellow area within Syria is the safe zone. It's a 32-kilometer deep safe zone that Erdogan is trying to establish in order to essentially take over parts of Syria. So we know that this plan to try to retake parts of the Ottoman Empire are already in place. They're just going under the radar a little bit. You see what I mean? So that's kind of what's going on. Now, back to the Treaty of Lausanne. It's important to understand that some treaties, especially the ones that happened during World War I and World War II, are considered to have an infinite lifespan, okay? Some international agreements have a sunset clause that specifies a time period after which the agreement will no longer be in force. The Treaty of Lausanne does not have such a clause. So, Turkey would literally be 100% within its rights to try to re-establish the caliphate. Now, going back to our map, now that the Treaty of Lausanne expires and Erdogan is in office, what is the next step within the map? Watch this. It is the re-establishment of the Neo-Ottoman Empire. Now, Tara, she actually put on here, God bless her soul, I wish I had her on today so that she could be here with us. It can be established in Neo-Ottoman Empire literally after 7/24/2023. So that's going to be from the time of this video within 3 months. So politically, geographically, and from the expiration of the Treaty of Lausanne, the Neo-Ottoman Empire can legally be formed in 3 months. Y'all are not hearing this anywhere else. Y'all are not hearing this anywhere else, okay?
I don't believe you.
That's that. Now let's go to the Neo-Ottoman Empire. What is that, okay? Well, it's going to be this. Actually, we don't have kind of a map, but it's essentially what's going to happen under Sharia law. Okay, there's going to be nations under Sharia law. We kind of went over this, but just understand that this could be the formation of the Neo-Ottoman Empire that could take place in the next couple of years. Now, Erdogan only has about another 5-year time span before he has to get reelected again. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. We don't know. What does the Bible tell us about this region? This is what I want us to move into. We see what can take place. You know, we can see this empire totally establishing itself right now before our very eyes. But does the Bible actually say that this is going to happen? Because many people right now are focusing on King Charles, right? You guys are going to hear this all over the place. Oh, King Charles just had his coronation. We need to be looking at him.
He's
the
still
Prince of Wales. You know what I mean? Clearly, they're forming this coalition. The Bible does not say that, okay? We're going to look at a specific prophecy within Isaiah that's going to make this very, very clear. And then I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Ayatollahs and their connection to this, Iran. Okay, so stay with me. Okay, let's move over to Jeremiah 51:24. Now, Jeremiah 51:24 is a very interesting prophecy because this prophecy is talking about Mystery Babylon. This is one of the great prophetic utterances before the book of Revelation that describes the fall of Mystery Babylon. Let's read it. Okay, this is Jeremiah 51:24. Before your eyes, I will repay Babylon and all who live in Babylonia for all the wrong they have done in Zion. That's Jerusalem, declares the Lord. Okay? I am against you, destroying mountain. You who destroyed the whole earth, declares the Lord. He's talking to Mystery Babylon here. I will stretch out my hand against you, roll you off the cliffs, and make you a burned out mountain. Okay? Very interesting. No rock will be taken for you for a cornerstone, nor any stone for a foundation, for you will be desolate forever, declares the Lord. Wow. I just had a revelation right there reading it. Let's talk about that in a second. Now, here's where it is. Here's the key. You guys ready? Lift up a banner in the land. Blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations for battle against her. Summon against her, Mystery Babylon, the kingdoms, Ararat, Midi, Ashkenaz. Appoint a commander against her. Send up horses like a swarm of locusts. Guys, if you do not understand, if you have not watched my Gog and Magog video with Leroy, if you're watching this, bro, you should have jumped on because this is your key right here, is to talk about these regions. What are the regions of Ararat, Ashkenaz, and I believe, Midi?
Meaning.
Well, what does the Bible say about these regions? Have you guys ever heard of essentially, or let me do this. Okay, before I get too ahead of myself. This is going to be where the biblical land of Ararat was founded. And actually, this is going to be a mountain range. So let's look at this. Okay, if you guys look at this map, we have Turkey, okay? I can't really make it bigger for you guys, unfortunately, so sorry if it's too small. This is Turkey. The mountains of Ararat are going to be just northeast of Turkey. So they're going to be in the far east of Turkey, right on the border with Iran, okay? That's essentially where Ararat's going to be. Now, there was a big stir going on, a while back, because there was actually a reporter who found Noah's Ark in this region. The Bible actually says that Noah's Ark was landed in the mountains of Ararat. I'm trying to get you guys an article. See if we can. So actually, this is from National Geographic right here. That says, near the top of Mount Ararat, seen from Armenia in Turkey, explorers claim to have found Noah's Ark. Okay. So a team of evangelical Christian explorers claim they found the remains of Noah's Ark beneath snow and volcanic debris on Turkey's Mount Ararat. But some archaeologists and historians are taking the latest claim that Noah's Ark has been found about as seriously as the past ones. The team claims to have found in 2007 and 2008 7 large wooden compartments buried at 13,000 feet above sea level, near the peak of Mount Ararat. They returned to the site with the film crew in October 2009. Many Christians believe the mountain in Turkey is the final resting place of Noah's Ark, which the Bible says protected Noah, his family, and the pairs of animal species on earth. So that's Ararat. That's apparently where Noah's Ark was found. Now, when Jeremiah is literally saying Mystery Babylon in the last days, he's going to summon the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini and Ashkenaz, to come against Mystery Babylon. Because remember, within the book of Revelation, the beast is going to hate the harlot. Okay? So we know the harlot is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. That is Mystery Babylon. And the Antichrist, the beast, is going to hate the harlot. He's going to come in. He's going to burn her up with fire. God has put it in their hearts to do so. So when we go back to the prophets and not only rely on Revelation, we see that the actual kingdom mentioned that's going to be the one that comes against Mystery Babylon is Ararat, located in Turkey. That is one indication as to why the beast system is going to be in this region. Now, here's what's even crazier. Look what it says. Summon against her these kingdoms, right? I just said, appoint a commander against her. Guys, who is the commander that's being appointed from these 3 kingdoms? It's the Antichrist. Okay, how do we know this? Well, appoint a commander against her, send up horses like a swarm of locusts. Where do we see the locust come into play within the Bible? Well, Revelation 9, I believe it's Revelation 9 or 11, that talks about the commander that's over them, the angel that rises out of the abyss. His name is Abaddon, who leads the demonic locust army, and they're going to cut through the land, the Middle East, and destroy these regions. Okay? So, the beast is coming out of Turkey. That is one of the key indicators from this verse. Now, here's the revelation I just had. I need to take a step back, because this is absolutely wild. This literally just came to me. This might be the Holy Spirit. I don't know. You guys need to test all the spirits.
Yeah.
Test this. Okay? Don't take my word on it. Now, remember how the Bible says that Jesus Christ is the cornerstone. Okay? He is the stone that the builders rejected. And from the stone that the builders rejected came a mountain that grew up into the whole earth. So from the stone that they rejected, which is Jesus Christ, the kingdoms of the world did not accept his rule. They rejected him. The Jews rejected him. Islam rejects him as the divine Son of God who died for the sins of the world. He's rejected. Okay? But his kingdom will rise up and grow like a mustard seed, grow into the earth. Watch what I just saw here within Jeremiah. Look at this. Let's pull this up big for you guys. What did it say a few verses prior when talking about this great conflict between Mystery Babylon and the kingdom of Ararat? Okay? Before your eyes I will repay Babylon and all those who live in Babylonia for all the wrong they have done in Zion. Okay? So they're doing wrong in Jerusalem, in Zion. I am against you, destroying mountain. It's a dichotomy there. You who destroy the whole earth. I will stretch out my hand against you, roll you off the cliffs, and make you like a burned mountain. Here's where it is. You ready? Okay, my computer's being slow, guys. Of course. The devil's gonna get this right when I freaking give the give the key point. Okay, here it is. Are you ready? No rock will be taken from you for a cornerstone, nor any stone for a foundation, for you will be desolate forever, declares the Lord. What does this mean? This means Mystery Babylon, whatever Mystery Babylon is claiming to be a cornerstone for the world to be built on. It is a spiritual deception, a spiritual cornerstone, right? Jesus Christ is the rock that's rejected. Babylon is the rock that is accepted, okay? What is the rock that's going to be accepted in this region during the time of, the kingdom of Ararat, this Turkish coalition, the Middle East? What is the rock that's going to be accepted? It's going to be Islam. That is what it's going to be. And what does the God of the Bible say right here? No rock will be taken from you, Mystery Babylon, for a cornerstone, nor any stone for a foundation, for you will be desolate forever. Okay? Only the kingdom of God, under the Son of God, is going to be the kingdom that lasts forever. Take with that with what you will. That just kind of came up from nowhere. Take with that from what you will. Now, let's move on. So I want us to move to the final part of this video, which is where I'm going to make a solid biblical case from the book of Daniel of what I believe is going to happen next. Okay? So you've seen all of this. Erdogan, he's elected. The Treaty of Lausanne, it's expiring. We know from the Bible within Jeremiah, there's a commander that's coming from the kingdom of Ararat who's going to march out into the Middle East and destroy the region, especially Jerusalem. Okay, the time of Jacob's trouble. Now, what can we learn from Daniel within this great apocalyptic kind of era? And what is this going to relate to us? Give me just one sec. All right. So Daniel is going to give us a zoomed in perspective. Okay, we saw a very macro perspective. Now we're going to zoom in and see exactly what Daniel's saying. Right here, I have Daniel 11 and Daniel 8 side by side, so we can compare exactly what's going on. Okay? So, let's look at Daniel 8 right here. I'm going to highlight these verses for you so we can kind of read them together. This is what's going to happen at the time of the end. So Daniel, he saw a vision, and as I watched, he was in the fortress city of Susa in the province of Elam. This is within the area of Iraq. This is along the Euphrates River, okay? Or actually, no, I apologize. This is within Iran. Okay, this is just north of Iraq in kind of western Iran. Okay, this is where he's at. So I saw in the vision that I was beside the Ulai Canal, and I looked up, and there was a ram standing beside the canal. He had two horns. The two horns were long, but one was longer than the other, and the longer one came up last. Okay, and I saw the ram charging to the west, to the north, and to the south. No animal could stand against him, and there was no rescue from his power. He did whatever he wanted, and he became great. Let's look at the map of this. So they should have a map for Daniel 8, which, of course they don't. Of course they don't. Okay, so we're just going to have to go off of our imagination. So remember, he's standing in the Ulai Canal, which is in Iran, and he sees a ram standing there. So what do we know? We know the ram is going to come from Iran. We're going to get later revelation from this as we look at the interpretation. The ram is going to be an Iranian beast, whatever that means. It has two horns, and it charges out, okay? Now, as I was observing the ram, a male goat appeared coming from the west. Now, this is west of Iran, across the surface of the entire earth, without touching the ground. The goat had a conspicuous horn. Within the interpretation, a lot of people won't tell you this. It actually, says the horn of a vision. Okay, we're going to get into kind of what that means. Keep that in mind. The horn of a vision, a conspicuous horn, between his eyes. He came towards the two-horned ram that I saw standing beside the canal and rushed at him with a savage fury. I saw him approaching the ram, and infuriated with him, he struck the ram, breaking his two horns, and the ram was not strong enough to stand against him. The goat threw him to the ground and trampled him, and there was no one to rescue the ram from his power. Then the male goat, here it is, acted even more arrogantly than the ram. And when he had become powerful, the large conspicuous horn, or the horn of the vision, was broken, and four conspicuous horns came out of its place, pointing towards the four winds of heaven. This is, of course, where the little horn comes from. We're going to skip this part. This is where the Antichrist is going to come from. Okay? Now, when we look at the actual interpretation of the vision, right? Daniel, he's standing there. He's like, bro, what the heck? Like, what is going on? This is crazy. He asked the angel, he's like, dude, what's going on? Right? I mean, obviously he didn't say it like a freaking frat boy, but, he said it in whatever terms he was saying it. So, he heard a human voice calling from the middle of the Ulai, which is the river within Iran. Gabriel explained the vision to this man. So he approached where I was standing, and when he came near, I was terrified and fell face down. Son of man, he said to me, understand that the vision refers to the time of the end. Guys, if anybody tells you that this vision is talking about Alexander the Great, or is talking about the Persian Cyrus king, Cyrus the Great, they are wrong. This vision is about the time of the end. The verse literally translates to the latter end of the indignation, the latter years. All of the prophecies of Daniel 8 and Daniel 9, while they have dual application to Alexander the Great and the historical precedent of what happened under Antiochus, it is ultimately fulfilled in the future. You cannot deny this if you clearly read the text. So whatever's happening within Daniel 8 and Daniel 11, this is all going to take place from the beginning to the end of the verse in the future, okay? If you guys want more discussions on this, watch my videos on Daniel 2 and Daniel 8, okay? But let's move on. While Gabriel was speaking to me, I fell into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. Then he touched me and he made me stand up. And he said, I am here to tell you what will happen at the conclusion of the time of the wrath. Even more evidence. At the end of the indignation. At the conclusion of the time of the tribulation. Because it refers to the appointed time of the end. The two-horned ram that you saw represents the kings of Media and Persia. This is Iran. The shaggy goat represents the king of Greece, Yavon. This is Asia Minor, Turkey, parts of the Ionian Islands as well. Okay? And the large horn, the horn of the vision, the conspicuous horn between his eyes represents the first king. There's a mystery here. Okay? The first king of Greece. Now listen to this. A lot of people are like, oh, that's Alexander the Great. Like, what are you talking about, dude? That's Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was the 27th, it's either the 27th or the 23rd king of Macedon. He was not the first king of Greece. So there's something really wrong with this paradigm that they're telling us, okay? Because he was not the first king of Greece. Who would be the first king of Greece within the future, the modern day? It would be the first caliph leader who would establish himself as the caliph leader. Okay, we'll kind of get into that. Okay? If Erdogan, here's kind of the application. Imagine this. Imagine Erdogan, after being elected, okay, literally establishes himself as the first king of his new empire, the Neo-Ottoman Empire. He would be the first king of Greece, right? The first caliph leader. That's essentially kind of what is a possibility. It's not 100%. Don't crucify me in the comments. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility, okay? We need to be wise and be looking at all possibilities.
Well, folks.
Let's get this back up. So this prominent horn is the first king of Greece, okay? The four horns that took place out of the broken horn represents the four kingdoms that will rise from that nation, but without its power. So these four horns are going to arise out of Asia Minor Turkey when Asia Minor Turkey is broken and divided into four different regions within the last days, four different kingdoms, okay? Near the end of their kingdoms, when the rebels have reached the full measure of their sin, guys, can't continue to say this without speaking what the Holy Spirit is telling me. Okay? What is Daniel trying to tell us? What does Daniel trying to tell us when he says, when the rebels have reached the full measure of their sin? Okay, what does this say right here? Have become complete, when their sin has become complete. The sin of what? The sin of these kingdoms. What are these kingdoms doing? They're setting themselves up in opposition to the kingdom of God. Who are these rebels? It's a theocratic rebellion. It's an Islamic rebellion. That's what's happening here in the last days. Okay? I have to say this, unfortunately. After the rebels have reached the full measure of their sin, a ruthless king, skilled in intrigue, the verse literally says he will have a great understanding of riddles. Okay? He's skilled in intrigue, will come to the throne. His power will be great, but it will not be his own. He will cause outrageous destruction and succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy the powerful along with the holy people. He will cause deceit to prosper through his cunning and by his influence. In his own mind, he will exalt himself. He will destroy many in a time of peace. That's the false peace. And he will even stand against the Prince of Princes. The Prince of Princes being the Prince of the Covenant, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. This guy will literally set himself up in opposition to the Lamb of God. This is why these kings are making war against the Lamb of God. They're setting themselves up in opposition. Yet he will be broken, not by human hands. Now you want to seal up the vision because it would...
Yeah, folks. It's a little bit long, this video. Well, this is what Erdogan election means. Trying to get a little bit, it ties in with the election and whatever, and then the rest of it he explains what this actually means in the Bible, the last days. And interested. Well, is it really a prophecy coming through? It seems like maybe. And King Charles, he said, is not the Antichrist. Yeah, he's a good, I don't know, he's not the Antichrist, yeah, but only God knows, I guess. But, yeah. But it does talks about our world religion in the end times. Yeah, I mean, one world is going to take over the beast, mark of the beast, and you can buy and sell, and one world religion. It's going to be like not necessarily going to be a Islamic caliphate in the end. Christ is going to stop that after the 7 years. So, anyways, folks, I went a bit long with this, but that's it. And this guy, his name is Jerrico, and his his YouTube channel, Kingdom Covenant. Look him up if you're into the Bible. I'm a Christian, so I'm into this. Now I'm a Christian, I'm into this. But if you're into the Bible, you look this guy up. He makes a great point about the end times revelation and the book of Daniel. He goes through it. Good argument, and a lot of research on this. So, well, folks, that's it. I'm gonna sign out. It's getting late, so nighttime here. And I'm done, folks. Oh, it's almost an hour. Wow. I'm out, folks.